What's good, gamers? We're back at it again. It's episode 8. I've got slightly better mic quality. We're fucking in this nasty. We're on a new disc. It is now disc 2 of the season 1 set. So we are a fifth of the way through season 1. Uh, this episode's hype. It's uh we have great things in store for us today. Um, but let's hear this mic quality real quick. Oh, okay. I have a lot of notes for the sub today. I did have to turn down the volume of the show just to make sure it doesn't pick up as much on the mic, but hopefully it doesn't affect us too much. We open on Goku flying to the island. There is already a slight difference in the sub as he's flying and preparing to land. He's talking to Master Roshi and he asks how Roshi is, and Roshi says he's fine. But in the dub, he just makes a joke that he's clear for landing. The title of this episode in English is The Kamehameha Wave. In the sub, it is the Turtle Hermit's Kamehameha. You'll notice that I say it differently every once in a while, and that's because either pronunciation works, and I'll go into that later. Roshi has just mistaken Chi-Chi for Bulma. Specifically in the sub, he comments on Chi-Chi's breasts, saying that he could have sworn that Chi-Chi had bigger breasts. Um, Roshi has walked off. He began talking to himself. Um, he's not saying anything important, particularly in English, uh, but he was thinking about Chi Chi. Uh, in the sub, however, he's a little awful. Uh, he says, or he comments on how Chi Chi translates to father in Japanese, but it can also be interpreted as boobs. So Chi Chi's boobs would be called Chi Chi's Chi Chi's. And he goes on like this for some time. He is facing a lot of doubt as to whether or not he's truly Roshi from Chi Chi currently. So he pulled out his license just to prove it. Um, just before this, Chi Chi attacked him and said if he's truly Master Roshi, he'll be able to avoid it. And he did it. He tried to block it, and then it got stuck in his head, and they had to pull it out. Roshi is currently explaining how the Bansho fan works. It is one swing produces heavy wind, two swings produces clouds, and three swings produces a torrential downpour. Roshi has pulled Goku to the side of the house, but has a proposition for him. In English, Roshi is asking Goku to secure a date for him, perhaps a romantic moonlit stroll. But in the sub, he wants to poke Bulma's boobs. um, I did note specifically that Turtle has more of an authoritative voice in Japanese. In English, he's more of a "But master, you already did that" kind of voice. Whereas in Japanese, it's more of a "Hey, get your act together" kind of deal. Roshi says he wants to have a little fun before he dies, and Turtle comments on how he already drank a potion that grants him eternal life, which I believe is retconned later. Um, I can't remember, but I think it's a specific herb later that he says gave him eternal life. Whatever it is, he's very old and he's not going to die any soon, so he's making excuses to touch women's boobs. We find out that Roshi has been using the Bancho fan as a pot stand. And specifically in the sub, I was talking, unfortunately, so I didn't get to hear it in the dub. But specifically in the sub, he throws it out after he spills wonton soup on it. They decide, well, Roshi decides that he will go with Goku and Chi Chi to put out the fires himself. So he changes into his respectable garb, I suppose, and they go to set out. I need to hear the name of this being.
I need to take an express spin over to Fire Mountain. Sure. Okay. Behave yourself.
In the sub, the turtle, the flying turtle that Roshi sets out on is called Baby Gamera. He is following shortly behind Goku and Chi Chi on his flying turtle. I didn't hear him say the actual name of it, so I'm going to look it up right now. But they are heading out to Flame Mountain. Baby Gamera in English. Baby Gamela is what they call it. So it's just the one consonant. Uh, Goku and Chi Chi arrive shortly before Roshi to give the bad news that the Bancho fan is gone. And Roshi drops down from a very high place off of the flying turtle and has kind of like a superhero landing. uh, Ox King sees his former master and is kind of overtaken by emotions. He runs towards him and tells him that he misses him and accidentally knocks him over and kind of makes him dizzy. He's an old man. Um, in both versions, Master Roshi chastises Ox King for hurting people over his fortune, protecting his castle and whatnot. In the sub specifically, he chastises him for murdering people. So that Western influence, we got to be protected from serious topics like murder. Uh, Everyone is kind of doubting that Roshi can actually put this thing out. I'm actually going to turn it up a little bit. If it picks up on the mic, so be it. He's he's asking Bulma himself for a date. Okay, I'm actually going to turn it back down. I see it picking up on the mic. Roshi's promising to be respectful, but Bulma's not having any of it. And he's threatening to leave if he doesn't get this moonlight date, which it does make a lot more sense in Japanese. Um, I say it makes a lot more sense. Wait. Um, Earth, water, sea, air. I declare a pinky swear. They have promised that if Roshi clears the flames, he gets a moonlight stroll. In the sub, they promise that if he clears the flames, he'll get to poke her boobs. But specifically in the sub as well, let me scroll down to it. The penalty for breaking a pinky swear is swallowing 1,000 needles. Um, so a little bit different. just a smidge. Roshi is disrobing to prepare for his attempt on these flames. Um, he's got an old man's body. Everyone's standing around dumbfounded. Roshi looks back at Bulma and says, "Get ready for that walk." In the sub, he calls himself sexy. He goes, "Sexy, aren't I?" after he takes off his clothes. He's a lot funnier in the sub, but also kind of a shittier person. Roshi is currently bulking up. You've heard of old man strength. He's becoming like the physical embodiment of that. Just fucking getting just absolutely brawlic. He actually kind of does look like Broly does in terms of muscle mass. He's absolutely huge. He's thrust his palm forward, and from his palm extending over the rest of his body is kind of like a faint blue glow. Yamcha is explaining that Roshi is gathering his energy in order to channel it into his palms and release it all at once. Roshi, Ka, Me, Ha, Me, Ha! And he fires a Kamehameha wave at the flames. Um, Now, a slight tangent here. Uh, if you go to like anime or nerd conventions or whatever, having any kind of Dragon Ball discussion, it will come up the proper way to say Kamehameha or Kamehameha. It's both. Both are correct. In Japanese, they say it Kamehameha. Um, we recognize that the origin is from King Kamehameha, the uh, former king of Hawaii, I believe it is. Let me make sure on that before I fucking talk out of the side of my head. Um, but the story goes that Akira Toriyama's wife gave him the suggestion of naming the Kamehameha wave after uh, Kamehameha the Great, the first king of Hawaii, and he just went along with it. That discussion comes up pretty often, and like purists think that there's a correct way to say it, but there's not. There's not. It's a stupid conversation. Say it how you want. Okay, so Roshi cleared the flames. He defeated the flames, but he also exploded Ox King's castle and the mountain behind it. He took everything out. So Bulma has whipped out the dragon radar and is searching with Oolong for the Dragon Ball. Goku has said that he wants to learn that attack, the Kamehameha wave, as they say in the dub. And Roshi told him 50 years. Naturally, like a kid does, he looks at the first car, copies the exact same thing that Roshi did, and just fires a wave off. And Chi Roshi and Ox King look on fucking dumbfounded. They're like, huh? How did he do that? Uh, Ox King says something to the effect of, uh, I expect nothing less from Son Gohan's grandson. And Roshi's like, him? Really? And then walks over to Goku to confirm. He's like, how is Gohan doing? Goku says, he's been dead. Roshi's like, sorry. My bad. And then offers to take him on as a student. And we learn from Yamcha that that's not like some easy thing. That's not like a normal thing. Roshi's a highly lauded martial artist. He doesn't just take on students. Um, so big feat for Goku. It helps that his grandfather was one of the first students and considered his number one student. He kind of got literally grandfathered in under Roshi. We flash back to Bulma and Oolong, and she's found the ball. And she makes her way back to the group and discovers the car, and she's like, he's like, Goku's like, oh, my bad. Sorry, didn't mean to do that. Um, she's like, oh no, how will we ever get to the other Dragon Ball? Uh, and Ox King's like, you can borrow one of my cars. It's old, but it's fast. Okay, no mention in the dub. In the sub, she says it's very far to the west, the last Dragon Ball, which is yet another nod. They'll be making a sort of pilgrimage westward. They'll be transiting. They're making a passage west. Um, some might even call it a journey. Roshi walks up to the car and is like, "Hey, did you uh did you forget something?" And Bulma's like, you remember that? And then pulls Oolong around the corner and fucking threatens him with diarrhea if he won't transform into her. Uh, Specifically in the sub, Oolong, after being threatened, says Bulma will not die a nice death, which is just insane. But he has transformed into Bulma so that Roshi can get his moonlit walk in the dub and his boob poke in the sub. I gotta turn this up a little bit. I gotta see what Oolong offers here. Okay. In the dub, he says Oolong says, "My heart's beating like a drum. Boom, 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 boom." And Roshi goes, boom, boom. But in the sub, he offers a pafu pafu between Bulma's, between his transformed Bulma's boobs. So, uh, we don't get like any idea of lewd acts in the dub, but in the sub, uh, oh, in the sub, Roshi puts his face between clone Bulma's boobs, and gets like motorboated. I guess I don't know. Something to that effect. Um, so yeah, there. They bid adieu to Ox King, Roshi, and Chi Chi, and in the dub, Goku's like, "Do you think you'll ever think of me again?" And she's like, "Oh my gosh, so embarrassing." But in the sub, uh, Chi Chi actually asks Goku to be her husband in the future, to marry her. And Goku's like, "I don't know what that is, but sure, if it'll make you happy." Um, so yeah, that's where their marriage is born from in the source material. And that's it. They set off westward towards the last Dragon Ball, which we know is with Oolong. It's the 1-star ball. And Yamcha's still trailing them. Um, Bulma stressed in the sub that it's very west. So we can only guess that it should be some time before they actually get the next ball. So I think it's filler time coming up. But that's the end of this one. I appreciate you sticking around. I hope it was entertaining. I hope the mic quality is better. Let me know if you like that. Um, fucking yeah. Have a good night. Kiss kiss. Bye.